Hey, we're very pleased now to be joined by ESPN's Jon Gruden. Together we talked about that was a graduate assistant at the University of Tennessee, 1986, 1987. Hey, Jon, how you doing?
Hey, Jimmy, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's going fantastic. Thank you for joining us. It had been a long time since I had seen you, and I enjoyed visiting with you at the Tennessee Theater, The Color Orange, the Condridge Holloway story. What did you think about that, the production that was put together by Kenny Chesney, and also that night?
I thought it was great. I thought it said a lot about the history of Tennessee football and football in general, and I'm proud of where I come from. My wife's a Tennessee Volunteer, and to reunite with Coach Majors and seeing Phil Fulmer and Bill Battle and just having an opportunity to hear Condridge Holloway's story, and obviously Kenny Chesney put a lot of time and effort into it. It was a great night for me, my wife, and certainly for Tennessee football. Did
you learn a lot about Condridge Holloway that you did not know?
I sure did. You know, you forget about how tough times were, particularly for the black athlete when Condridge burst onto the scene, and especially for a quarterback in the South, in the SEC. And forget about all the greatness that he proved on the football field. It took a lot of guts and courage for him to do that, because behind-the-scenes times were tough then.
Jon, I've really enjoyed watching the segments that you have, breaking it down with the quarterbacks. I saw the one with Andrew Luck today, and I've watched others that you have done. I can't tell who's having more fun. It looks like you might be having more fun than the quarterbacks.
These shows, I'll tell you, I appreciate it, but these shows wear me out. We open up tonight. I think the Andrew Luck show comes on tonight at 7 o'clock. But we had 10 quarterbacks this year visit Tampa, Florida, and it's an interesting class from RG3 all the way down to Kellen Moore and Russell Wilson at Wisconsin, Tanny Hill at Texas A&M. It's a strong class of college quarterbacks, and we put a lot of time and effort into it. I just hope they turn out good.
Some people have said that they think Andrew Luck is the most NFL-ready quarterback since Peyton Manning. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. And his pedigree certainly speaks for itself. You know, at Stanford, West Coast offense, David Shaw, Jim Harbaugh, the men that coached him, playing in the heels of John Elway and Jim Plunkett, and just his mastery of that system, and the fact that he put the Stanford Cardinal on his back and really transformed them into a national power says a lot about him. He's a great player and a great person. He's as close to you get as a can't-miss prospect.
Jon, this is Vince Ferrara. I'm filling in for John Wilkerson. It's great to talk to you.
Hey, thanks.
I'm a Tampa guy, so I have a great respect for you and how you represent Tampa, and always talk about it every opportunity you can. I know you spend a lot of time down there. Are you still doing some coaching on the kids level there in Tampa, Bayshore?
Well, I am. My son just graduates this spring. He just signed a national letter to play at Lafayette College in Pennsylvania. So I'm trying to find a job next year. I might go over to Chamberlain High School and help the Chamberlain Chiefs, my brother's alma mater. But I'm available if you got any tips of where I could get a job. I need help.
Hey, Coach, there's been a lot of different players that you have interviewed in those quarterback schools. Is there a guy that stands out that maybe was a lot more different than maybe you thought going in, that was just a complete just a great difference from what you expected going in?
That's a good question. You know, a lot of these guys have been a joy to be around. Matter of fact, I've enjoyed the time spent with all of them. But there's a young man that you're going to see a little bit later in the spring, Brandon Whedon out of Oklahoma State. He's 28 years old. His story is amazing. Second-round draft choice of the New York Yankees. Just kind of went up and down the street on a bus playing minor league baseball for 6 or 7 years. Couldn't get the fastball down. People were hitting it. And he decided he wanted to go back and be a college quarterback at 27 years old, becomes an All-American, takes the Oklahoma State Cowboys to the Fiesta Bowl, beats Andrew Luck. Brandon Whedon is a young man that you'll really enjoy. I think you're really going to be excited about what this kid brings to the table.
Our guest, Jon Gruden, with ESPN. Jon, you've been on that crew on Monday Night Football for a few years now. Have you enjoyed it maybe more than you thought? It looks like you're having a good time.
I am having a good time. I'm with a great quarterback in Mike Tirico. And Ron Jaworski and I are really good friends. We've had a lot of fun over the last few seasons. ESPN has been a great opportunity for me to try something different. I miss coaching. I can't deny that. But they've given me so much to do from a football standpoint. My wife thinks I've lost my mind. She thinks I'm still coaching. I spend more time in my little office down the street from my house than I ever did.
You said you miss coaching. Do you think you'll coach again?
That's a hard question. It would certainly not surprise me if I came back and coached. I love the players. I love game day. And that scoreboard and the thrill of winning, the agony of defeat are hard things to duplicate. But in the time being, I'm having a great time. I'm trying to get better, trying to learn some 3- and 4-syllable words so I can communicate better to you guys like you, Jimmy.
Oh, 1 or 2 will work. I got to tell you this, and you probably know this, but every time the Tennessee job has come open the last few years, your name comes up. Your wife, she's from here. You got land in Sevier County. You're out there playing golf with Jim Haslam. You've probably played more rounds with him than you can imagine. But every time it comes up, your name gets tied to the Tennessee job. I do want to get your take on your thoughts on Tennessee. You coached here. How good of a job you think it is?
I think it's a great job. I think it's one of the marquee jobs in all of football at any level. Got tremendous tradition. Got a global tradition. You wear that orange and white, everybody knows where you're talking about. Phenomenal facilities. I think the expectations won't change there. And I was fortunate to break in coaching there under Johnny Majors, and Coach Majors and I are going to reunite in a couple of weeks and talk some football, have dinner, and show up at the Tennessee Football Clinic. But I love Tennessee. My wife cheered there, and that's where it all began for me. So I'm very biased to the Tennessee Vols.
John, what about the SEC and sending guys to the NFL? We know what the numbers are, and all the players that do go to the NFL from the SEC. Do they prepare? Are they more prepared, do you think, than a lot of other conferences for the NFL world?
Well, I think the competition in the SEC from top to bottom is better than any other conference. I don't think you need to be a Rhodes Scholar to figure that out. And you look at the progress that South Carolina's made, you look at the progress that Mississippi State has made, and now you throw in Texas A&M and Missouri, you don't have any cakewalks in the SEC. You better strap it on every Saturday or you're getting beat. And I really like the competitive nature of that conference from top to bottom, and I don't think anybody disputes that.
John, I've seen you in the past and some of the draft day analysis you've given and how players are you have to evaluate them differently now going to the NFL from college because of the way college has evolved with all the spreads and different things that they do now. Talk about the challenge of how college football has developed and now projecting how they'll be like in the NFL.
That's a great point. Not only the spread system, it's the no-huddle nature of these offenses. Very few colleges ever huddle. And because of that, defenses with this 20-hour-a-week rule are restricted in their communication and some of the things that you see at the NFL level. They are really coming after defenses with high-octane tempo. They're snapping the ball faster than they've ever snapped it before. Some of these teams are running 90 to 103 plays a game. That's astounding. So it's hard to evaluate some of the players because you don't see some of the different alignments, some of the different techniques that you've seen in years past.
I guess Jon Gruden, Super Bowl winning coach Jon Gruden. John, what do you wear your Super Bowl ring? Do you keep it in a safe place? What do you do with it?
Well, I wear it around the house every once in a while just to remind myself there were a few good days in coaching, but I don't wear it often. Sometimes I wear it on the Monday Night Football broadcast. But I'm very proud of those days. That was a great year in my life when we did win the Super Bowl, but that ring's hard to wear around town, if you know what I mean.
Hey, if you did get back into coaching, would it be more likely the NFL or college?
I don't know. I've been studying a lot of college tape, obviously, in the last 3 months. And, if I ever do return to coaching, it'll be a place where I feel obviously very good about. And it has to be good for my family, and I have to have the opportunity to win and hopefully have a chance to be as good as I can be. But I don't want to speculate. I just like what I'm doing right now, and just excited to come back to Tennessee and speak at the clinic.
You mentioned the clinic. You'll be speaking there 2 weeks from today. What's your message? When you go to clinics, what do you talk about?
Well, there's going to be about 400 high school coaches there, and I'll put together some video. I'll try to bring to the coaches something they can take home with, some things to think about, maybe some drills, maybe some plays, maybe some concepts, some schedule items that can help them. And hopefully some of the video I show really snaps somebody right between the eyes, and they say, I agree with that, I like that, I dislike that, and they can learn from it. I'm going to try to stimulate some coaches the best way I can.
Hey, just a couple more questions. We'll let you go. Your thoughts on Peyton Manning going to Denver and how successful you think he'll be with the Broncos?
Well, I would never bet against Peyton Manning. I'm shocked that his career is over in Indianapolis, to be honest with you. But given the circumstances of Andrew Luck's availability and the injury that Peyton Manning has had in the stage of his career, I do understand it. But what a coup for the Denver Broncos. And let's be honest, though, Peyton Manning, not a lot of players overcome a serious injury at this magnitude, at this stage of their career. And it's going to be hard to duplicate his success in Indianapolis because he's got to put the offense in from scratch. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about the sheriff, Jimmy. And Peyton Manning, when he puts his heart and soul into it, he's a difference maker. And I really think he's going to make a difference in Denver.
One other thing, got to ask you, what was it like to coach for Al Davis in Oakland?
It was a great learning experience. It is in the Hall of Fame. He's obviously been criticized by a lot of people, but very few owners, very few people I've ever met know personnel, know X's and O's, know the core of football like Al Davis did. And he was a great teacher and a tremendous ambassador for the game. He helped me get better. And football took a punch in the gut when we lost Al Davis.
Hey, Jon Gruden, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Love your work on Monday Night Football and your sessions with the quarterbacks, and we look forward to seeing you when you come to speak at the Tennessee Coaching Clinic April the 13th.
All right, Jimmy, thanks. Same here. Look forward to seeing you. Appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate you, John. That's Jon Gruden. Again, he was a graduate assistant at Tennessee, 86 to 87, playing against his coaching at Tennessee against his brother, who was a quarterback at Louisville, and then going on to a tremendous career as a coach in the NFL. And he'll be speaking at the Tennessee Coaching Clinic Friday night, April the 13th. Look forward to seeing him at that time.